There are multiple ways of interacting with Python, and each of them can be useful depending on the situation. Hi, I'm Philip. Welcome to the video course Interacting with Python. In this course, you will learn how to run Python in interactive mode, how to create a Python file in the terminal, how to execute Python scripts from a file, and how to interact with Python in idle. This video course is perfect for you if you're just getting started with Python. The only real requirement is that you have Python installed on your system, but it will also help you if you worked a little bit with the terminal already. For this course, you should at least know how to open the terminal. And no worries, if you haven't written much Python code yourself yet, this video course is perfect because we'll just write one line of Python code. That's not much Python code, but it's a very special line of Python code. Let's get started. There's a long-standing custom in computer programming that the first code written in a newly installed language is a short program that displays the text "Hello World." In Python, running a Hello World program only takes a single line of code. It's a print function call with the string "Hello World." And to be more precise, it's a capitalized hello followed by a comma, space, and then a capitalized world with an exclamation mark. The string itself is not that important. The important part here is that the print function will display a text to your screen when you run the Python program. So in this course, you will use this line of code to explore several ways of executing Python code. Let's start with the first way of executing Python code, the REPL. One of the quickest ways to start interacting with Python is in a REPL, which means starting up the Python interpreter and typing commands directly to the interpreter. REPL stands for Read-Eval-Print Loop. When you interact with Python this way, the interpreter will read the command you enter, evaluate and execute the command, print the output to the console, if there is any output, and then loop back and repeat the process. Read, evaluate, print, loop, in short, REPL. An interactive session like this continues until you instruct the interpreter to stop. Using Python like this is a great way to test short snippets of Python code and get more familiar with the language. So it's perfect if you want to try things out. So how do you get to this REPL? On Windows, you can open your command prompt or PowerShell application and type the py or Python command to launch the Python REPL. On Linux or macOS, open your terminal application and type Python 3 to launch it from the command line. Depending on your configuration, it can also work to type Python instead of Python 3. And once you hit enter, you're in the REPL. And in the REPL, everything works exactly the same, no matter which operating system you're using. Okay, let's explore the REPL together. So here I'm in my terminal. Since I'm on the Mac, I can type Python, and once I hit enter, I'm entering the Python REPL. There is quite a bit of output here once you're in the REPL, but the two most important parts are the Python version, which is 3.13.0 for me, but it could be a different one for you, and the prompt. The prompt is those three greater signs that you can see on the left of my blue block, which is my current cursor position. These three greater signs indicate that you're talking to the Python interpreter, and Python is waiting for your input. We're good to go. Now, to interact with Python, let's type the command print and then the string hello world. And don't forget the closing parentheses because we're using a print function call to output the hello world message. And once you hit enter, you can see the interpreter's response on the next line. Hello world. Okay, that's amazing. And you can tell that it's console output because the three greater signs are not in front of the hello world output. So Python reads your input, evaluates it, then prints your output, and then there is this L for looping, and that means you're seeing those three greater signs at the end again. Python is waiting for any input that you have for it. Feel free to play around a little bit in the Python REPL. After all, that's exactly the purpose of the REPL. Try things out and see how things go. And once you're done, you can type exit with opening and closing parentheses and hit enter. That way you finish the REPL session and you're back in the terminal. Entering commands into the Python interpreter interactively is great when you want to do some quick testing or try out new features or explore some functionality. As you just saw, you can jump into the REPL, type some code, try things out, see how it goes, and then use exit to jump out of the REPL again. That's quite cool. The disadvantage is that the code you wrote during the REPL session is basically lost if you don't copy-paste it out of the REPL. So when you want to develop longer programs that you want to edit and run repeatedly, you don't want to retype the code into the interpreter every time or be scared that you lose all of the code. In these situations, it's a better idea to create Python files and run them directly. And you can do both things in the terminal. So let's explore that next.